you get your tobacco. There's ways that you can pray on tobacco, any tobacco, right? If I've been in a bind, I would borrow a cigarette from somebody, or I'd trade them for it, right? And then I get that tobacco. Does anybody have a cigarette? Here, I'll take the whole pack. Yeah, get you on payday. I'm gonna pass these around. You guys all take one. Okay, so this is gonna change the flavor of that cigarette when you make this prayer. Okay, this will change the flavor of your drink. This will change if you're drinking a pop. It'll change the flavor of your pop, right? And this is pulling energy out of everyday products. And I'll show you the food prayer after this, because we're going to take a short break, and we got sandwiches back there. All right, so start off. Every time you pray, you're thanking Creator and thanking Mother Earth. Okay, thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you to my guides and my protectors. Now you're going to start pulling the energy off. I ask that you take the negative energy from this item. I ask you take the chemicals, other people's vibration, and any toxins. I ask that this item is also returned to its original intention of medicine. Thank you for all that you do, all my relations. Now you could sit in prayer when you're having this one, right? As you're ingesting it, that's a smudge now, right?
You really can't smudge your lungs.
Yeah. But that's the exact same prayer when I use it to break it up to pray for other things.
That's what you're doing when we went down to the water.
Yeah.
We traded.
Yep. So what you're doing, what you want to do when you put tobacco down is put it where people aren't going to walk, right? If I'm in a stressful situation and I'm like rushing somewhere, I'll walk. I'm on a concrete sidewalk, I'll walk over to where there's grass, for example, or water, or a tree, somewhere where people aren't going to walk, and I'm going to offer this thing to something that's alive. And like I said, this is the one plant that was sent to us to make that offering to other. So this is tobacco is the one plant that you don't make an offering when you harvest it, right? And one of my language teachers up here told me in the old days they'd take part of your hair off and offer it to the plant. Yeah. So there's lots of ways that you can make offerings, but this is the strongest one, tobacco. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Wayne Dwyer says, if you only have one prayer, let it be thank you.
Yep.
And then I was listening to the speaker talk. He's like a medium. Somebody's talking to him. Talking about when you pray, so you're praying in a crisis, you don't ask for things. You just give thanks for everything. And see what comes next. You talk about the importance of all your prayers you're talking so far is always thank you.
Yep.
How important is that word thank you?
Well, the concept of gratitude, right? If we want to exist in a higher vibration, would it be more beneficial to be grateful than to be not? So in terms of, it's a vibrational concept where we want to be grateful for everything. We want to be able to humble ourselves to be at the same level as all of creation. You know what I mean? So there's nothing about anything that we're walking with that we're not connected to, that we're not supposed to contribute to, right? So when you think Creator, like the way I was taught in the Sweat Lodge, because a lot of ceremonies, they're sacrifice. We're sacrificing our comfort temporarily to pray for those that are in permanent discomfort. Okay? That's what ceremony is. That's where we're at. That's our mindset. So when you're going in there, it's hot, it's dark, and the elders told me if you run out of prayers, you run out of things to pray for, just keep repeating, thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. Right? So if you run out of things to be connected to, just keep saying thank you, Creator, thank you, Mother Earth. Because those are the two energies that contribute to us being able to exist. Yeah.
And then you get the little higher vibration, like this attracts like this.
Yeah.
This lack, eh?
Yeah. So you want to position yourself to receive. If you want to receive good things, you want to be able to exist in that place. So an example is when I was on the low vibration, I'd be walking down the street, I'd be looking for open car doors, right? The vibration I exist in now is that necessary. So you have to consider which vibration you want to exist on. Set your intentions to be there, right? So when I work with the guys here, questions earlier is like, can we add things to our medicine tea? You can. It doesn't have to be just medicine. You could have any type of tea with it. You can put sugar in it. You can put whatever you want in it. Okay, so you're not going to mess up the medicine as long as you're just drinking it naturally. So when we get into the energies that we walk with, all right, one of the things that surprised me when we started was that we are all possessed by something. Everybody. Even those that are helpers, we're all possessed by something because the energies that people struggle with, we were introduced to those too, right? So those things, as much as we work on them, we're always going to be there. We're always going to identify them. And that's what helps us help other people because we recognize where they're at because we've been there. We recognize what they're experiencing because we've been there, right? And I mentioned before that the brightest lights are put in the darkest places, right? So I've never met a genuine helper who hasn't been through the crap, who hasn't been through the struggles, who hasn't been through the emotions, who hasn't been through everything that you guys are going through right now. There's a reason for that, right? When people come and tell me, it's like, if it's a woman, so I need help with this, I'll guide them to a woman helper, right? If it's something I've never struggled with, I'm going to guide you to a helper who has been there, right? Because I'm not going to speak to places that I've never been. And that's just out of respect for I want them to get the correct help. I want them to get the correct instruction on how to navigate those times. Okay. So where we're at today, beginning our healing journey, just at the beginning, be very, very gentle with yourself. Be very gentle because there's going to be a lot of reflection. We're going to address all of those things one at a time. We're going to address all of those things when it's time. We're not going to overwhelm ourselves. We're not going to get into, a lower vibration because we're not exiting these places that we're revisiting. Because in order to address them, we have to first feel the things that are associated with those times. Okay? And it's okay to be in any emotion when you're healing. If you're releasing anger, you're going to experience anger. Let it go. Allow yourself. Give yourself permission. Right? The first stage to beginning your healing journey is give yourself permission. The way I worded it earlier is give yourself permission to look at things that you don't want to look at. But permission is huge in our healing journey because we're going to have to keep giving ourselves permission. Anytime you feel resistance, give yourself permission to address that thing. All right? Anytime we have emotion, right? We have to allow ourselves to process it. The only way we do that is by allowing it to flow. Okay? It doesn't matter what emotion, you got to be brave enough to face that thing so you could shorten your time suffering or struggling with that thing. The key to healing is understanding, so we have to go into it with student eyes all the time. We have to be at the beginning of our journey all the time. We have to be intentional and brave enough to face that thing when it's time. It's not always time to do that. We don't always have the energy. We don't always have, the emotional capability to do it on our own. This is why we have helpers, right? This is why we have people to shorten our stay with these things that we struggle with, right? And a lot of times when we ask for help, we have to be open to the perspective of others, right? Because if we're going to be asking for help, but we're not open to the help, we're not giving ourselves permission to be in the service of those that are coming to help us. So just to understand that permission is a huge piece to our journey. Huge, huge piece. All right. So when we're constantly giving ourselves permission, the second stage to beginning our healing journey is intention. Right? When I first meet the guys at the Trinity House, I asked them, who do you intend to be at the end of your stay here? Right? So for everybody else, who do you intend to be, let's say this time next year or 2 years from now? If you were to picture that person standing in the center of the circle, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and picture that version of you that you admire. So when you look at them, what decisions are they making that you're not making? How are they treating people around them? Are the people around them safe? Are they grateful for you? Are you proud of yourself? That version of you. Okay, you can open your eyes. What I want to ask you is, that version of you 2 years away? Or is it 2 months away? That's our intention. That's what we do with intention. When I started walking this road, my intention was to be a Top Gun helper. That was my intention. My intention wasn't just to find understanding of all of the things I was struggling with. My intention was to be a Top Gun helper, so Top Gun teachers were put in my path. My development was sped up to the degree where everybody, all my teachers told me, you're moving faster than I moved. Right? Intention. That's the thing that makes everything move. Okay? So we get to the crossroads every day of our life. Every single time we have that option to go down that familiar dark road or walk in this new road. It's brighter, it's rougher, right? Our eyes are going to burn a little bit. It's going to be uncomfortable, but That's temporary. Because when we start walking in a new way, we have to make a conscious decision to make those efforts, but after a while it becomes automatic. And then after a while it's natural. It's a new normal, right? So if we're in a place where we're like, yeah, I'm going to go down this dark road, but I'll be right back. Are we being intentional? Right? Or if you're going to walk in this good way for this amount of time, but we're going to dip back into the dark, is that intentional? We cannot be taking shortcuts on our healing journey. The number one thing that we have is our integrity, right? So what is integrity to you guys? To me, it's I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, even when people aren't looking. I'm going to be the same version of me all the time. So to me, that's what integrity is. That's my number one attribute to my journey. And that's why I'm able to help people, right? If I started, jumping off my journey at will, I would not be able to help people. Spirit would take my gifts away from me, right? The beautiful thing about having this prayer team, the spiritual network that I have, is people could see my intentions, right? And we have a connection that we could talk to each other in a tough way, right? What's going on here? How long has that been going on? This is what I see. We'll help each other that way, right? And this is what I want for you guys. This is what I want. The ability that you could have a conversation without ego. The exit of ego is what we're experiencing right now. When you get back into your heart, you're able to operate from that place. And this is why I tell you guys to be gentle on your journey. Be gentle with yourself. There's going to be a lot out of our control. There's going to be a lot of testing times. There's going to be a lot of, lessons that come to us that aren't necessarily comfortable, but they're delivered that way so they last. I'm not going to be in that place anymore. We talked about how everything is energy, right? The most relatable example I could give is dating the same type of person over and over and over, right? That's your lesson. Once you acquire that lesson, that cycle is gone. Our time with addiction, for example, I don't judge people who indulge because that's their lesson. That's their education. My lesson is complete, but it doesn't make wrong for other people to drink alcohol. It doesn't make it wrong for other people to do whatever they do. My time is complete with that, and that's all I need to understand. My lesson is complete. Okay? I don't need to put myself in any other tough spots. The education is done. So this is what I mean by be a student, right? You have to understand everything in order for those cycles to stop. What is our anchor? Our anchor point is trauma. We're always going to be locked to that thing until we break that anchor, right? This is why you find yourself a genuine helper, and you tell on yourself. You talk about the things you don't want to talk about. Tell on yourself. Write it down. put tobacco in it, offer it to your guides. Help me with these matters, please. You burn that thing as much as you want. You burn it every day if you want. That process is not going to heal you, but it's going to open you up to conversations that you're waiting for. Right? It's a part of that permission piece. I'm given permission for this conversation to happen. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. I offer this to you. Please help me with these matters. Every time you do this, it doesn't feel like much, but on Spirit World, massive. The energy it takes for people to come into your journey and heal you repeatedly is massive. And all that stems from that one first little request. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother Earth. Help me with these matters. The way that it was taught to me, when you write it down, you write down in sentence or paragraph form the event. This is, if I asked you guys right now, and this is an example of how your spirit guides you. If I ask you right now, what's the first trauma you're going to write down? You don't even have to put any effort into that first trauma. It's there. Your guides will be like, this is first. Okay? That's your guidance. If you're ever stuck with any decision, ask, what is my next step? For a fleeting moment, it's going to say this way or that way. Trust it. Because your ego is going to jump all over it. No. We're going to go this way. I want to go that way. So you trust your heart as much as possible. When you start working with Spirit, when you start connecting with Spirit, when you start including Spirit, things are going to move faster. We have to keep giving ourselves permission for those connections to happen. Yeah, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. Somebody else comes in and is like, you know what? They might talk about their own issues. Then it's going to click for you. It's like, okay. Right? You don't have to say nothing beyond that. It's just like, I get it. So when we have these conversations, we start with our prayers, right? Everything is gratitude. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Mother. Thank you to my guides and my protectors. Now you're including your guides and your protectors in everything you do, every prayer you make, right? If it's just burning a piece of paper with your traumas on it, that's a connection. Now you're putting in the hands of those that can make things happen for you. Okay? Healing is not a spectator sport. All right? We have to want it. And we have to want it when it gets tough, because it's going to get tough. We're going to get tested all the time on our healing journey. By the other side and our side. Okay? Spirit knows what we're capable of. We need to know what we're capable of. That's why they're going to put some of these hardships in front of us. That's why they're going to put these distractions in front of us. Right? Everything is energy. How many times have the good times been knocking at your door when you had no money? They're still available. Okay? But the good times aren't knocking when the fridge is empty. Right? Sorry, the groceries aren't knocking on the door when the fridge is empty. It's energy. So these things want us to be in a low vibration. We're a playground to them. We're a playground. They want to see us struggle. They want to see us suffer. This is our battle. Right? We have a choice now. We're going to let them ruin us, or are we going to walk in a good way? That's a lot of time. The option isn't life or death. It's good life or death. Because we could live in a horrible life. We've all been there. It's good life or death. Any questions?
After intention is understanding.
Intention after intention is gratitude.
Right.
So permission, intention, gratitude, right? So that's where we start rewiring our brain. We have to find the things that we're grateful for and focus on them. A lot of times when we're struggling, we might not be grateful for our family, right? Or we become very selfish when we're suffering with things, right? With addiction or, right? We become very, very selfish. So gratitude, and we have to focus on the things that are good already in our journey. Being better to our loved ones, being better to our support network, our friends, just finding the goodness in everything that we do every day, because that's the vibration we want to exist on, right? How many times in our life where it's like everything sucks, right? It's easy to be there. We have to choose to be in gratitude. So after you give yourself permission, and that's an ongoing piece: permission, intention, gratitude. Okay. And that's just from my perspective. That's not the way you're supposed to be. Everybody's going to have a different way, right? You can develop your own way. You know what I mean? So these things they're tools. They're not like the way you're supposed to be. Because a lot of these things came to me in different ways, and I'm presenting them. Yeah. So you make it your own.